Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to start your preparation for the IP mat. So what we are going to do is we are going to cover the entire concepts that is there for the fundamental of accounting, and this will help you in your exam, which is scheduled to be held at 6 p.m. So please tell me if I'm audible. Please tell me in the chat section if I'm audible and visible to all of you. Okay. Can anybody please confirm if I am audible and visible? All right. Okay. Yes, all right, all right. Okay. So this session would be covered in English entirely. Occasionally, to give you the hooks, I'll use Hindi as well. It's just that you can remember the concept that we are going to cover. Okay. So primarily, I will be talking in English and mixing Hindi. I hope that's okay with all of you. So we are going to start now because time is a little not on our side. So let's start. So first of all, we have an introduction to accounting. So what is accounting? Accounting is basically the summarization of the entire accounting data. And what is data? When we talk about accounting data, it really means the transactions that a business incurs during an entire accounting period. What is an accounting period? There are a lot of questions. We'll cover all of that. First of all, let's see what is accounting. So the main objective of every business is to earn a profit. I don't think there is a business in this entire world that would be there just to earn losses, right? So the main objective of a business is to earn profit, and at end of each year, every business wants to know how much they have earned or lost. So for example, let's say I'm investing 1 lakh rupees. So at the end of the year, I would want to know what happened to my 1 lakh rupees. Did I earn a profit out of it, or did I earn a loss out of it? So once I do understand, okay, this is the profit or the loss, that is the entire process of accounting. I hope I was able to make myself clear. All right, perfect, perfect. So the main objective, remember, the main objective of accounting is to earn, main objective of the business is to earn profit, and the main objective of accounting is to ascertain whether we earned the profit or the losses during the entire year. I hope I was able to make my point clear. Let's move ahead. Accounting is the process of identifying, recording, classifying, summarizing, interpreting, and communicating financial information to users thereof. So there are 6 to 7 steps that we have to keep in mind. The order is very important. We cannot mess with the order. That is really important. Okay. So these are the functions of accounting, or should I say the process of accounting. First is identifying, then we have recording, then we have classifying, summarizing, analyzing, interpreting, and communicating. Okay, so in identifying, recording, okay, before that we have measuring. There is one more thing that is called measuring. Okay, that is not written here, so I'll show you the timeline now. So first of all, we have identifying, then measuring, then we have classifying, summarizing, analyzing, interpreting, and communication. These are the steps that we have to take care in accounting. First of all, identify. So you have to identify the transactions. We record only transactions that are there for the business. We do not care about the personal expenses of the business owners. So please make a note. There could be a question where it is mentioned that, okay, what you have to do is you have to bifurcate between the transactions of the business owner and the business. Please note that we are going to record the transactions only of the business. We are not going to record any transaction that is related to the business owner. So first of all, we have identified the transactions, and we are going to record only monetary transactions. That is the first step. The second step is measuring. What we do in measuring is we measure the transactions in monetary terms. In monetary terms. What is monetary terms, sir? The monetary terms means we want it in the money terms. If we can measure the transaction in the money terms, great. If we cannot measure the transaction, we will not record it. For example, there are certain type of transactions that we do in a business, like for example, helping a colleague or helping a client. These are also transactions, but these are not monetary transactions. We are not going to record anything that is not monetary. We want to record only those transactions which can be measured in monetary terms. So I hope I was able to explain it to you. For BCom word on all should be. We will cover entire accountancy over here, so don't worry about it. Okay. Yeah, measuring is there. Yes, yes, yeah, you were right. Yeah, it is just me identifying measuring. Yes, the measuring point was missing. I hope I was able to explain it to you in a better terms. Then we have classifying. After that, we have summarizing. We try to summarize the entire transaction. After that, we have analyzing. After that, we have interpreting and communication. So what you can do is IMC SAIC. IMC SAIC. Just remember this flow and you will know. So communicating the results to the user, what it means. What we are doing right now is we are doing a lot of calculations. We are summarizing the data, then analyzing, interpreting. What is the point of all the data if we are not communicating to anyone? So what we do over here is we communicate the result to the users of financial statements. Who are the users? It could be internal and external. So I am writing I for internal and E for external. Internal users of a company are management, employees, and workers. Okay. External users, it could be government, it could be banks, it could be financial institutions, it could be creditors, it could be customers, it could be anyone. Okay. So we have two types of users, internal and external. I hope I was able to explain it to you. All right. Okay. Let's move ahead. Okay. Let's move ahead now. So accounting cycle. What is accounting cycle? So understand the point of accounting cycle. In a business, there are cycles. We have operating cycle, we have information technology cycle. That cycles differ. But for accounting cycle, what we say is that typical accounting cycle of a business is of 12 months. 12 months. Okay. So if I have to write it this way, I'll write like accounting cycle. A typical accounting cycle is of 12 months. Okay. And it can start from either 1st January or 1st April. What is the logic behind it? I'll tell you. So accounting year, when we say accounting year, it is a period of 12 months. And we have a choice between the two. Either we can take the calendar year, your calendar year is January to December, or we can take the fiscal year. So if you are following the calendar year, your month would start on 1st January, your year would start on 1st January and the year would end on 31st of December. So this is 1st Jan. This is very important from exam point of view to 31st December. In numerical questions, you have to identify when is your year starting. If it is starting on 1st January, great. If it is not starting on 1st January, then it would be starting on 1st April of, let's say, this is 2025, right? So 1st April 25, then 31st March 26 would be the ending month of this fiscal year. I hope I was able to explain it to you. So we have two choices, either calendar year or fiscal year. Yeah, correct. Yes, it is identifying, measuring, recording, classifying, and so on. Yes. The measuring part was missing somewhere over there. All right. So accounting cycle is the holistic process of recording and processing all financial transactions of a business. What we are doing over here is we are trying to record and process all the financial transactions of a business. We studied that later, like earlier, right? I said what we do in accounting is we collect all the data throughout the year and then towards the end we try to summarize it, analyze it, interpret it, right? So accounting cycle is that entire process that we are talking about. So first of all, what we have is financial transactions. Then we have general journal. Then we have general ledger, trial balance, and financial statements. In financial statements, we get 5 things as per your Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. We will cover that later on. I hope You all are getting the point that I'm trying to make? All right. Please keep interacting in the chat section so that I know I am audible and visible to you, and you are getting the concept that I'm sharing. All right. Then let's move ahead. Accounting cycle. First of all, we have financial transactions. Once we get financial transactions, what we do is we prepare general journal. After that, we post the journal entries to the ledger, which is also called general journal. From general journal, what we do is we get the closing balances of the accounts. From that, we prepare our trial balance, and after trial balance, we prepare financial statements. In financial statements for sole proprietorship, I'll cover that later on, we get financial statement. The trading account, profit and loss account, and the balance sheet. All right. So we get three things in financial statement: trading account, profit and loss account, and balance sheet. This is for a sole proprietorship. What is a sole proprietorship? A person who is starting the business and he's running the entire business on its own. That is a sole proprietorship. We will cover that later on. But understand that when it comes to the financial statements of the sole proprietorship, we have trading account, profit and loss account, and balance sheet. I hope you all are understanding this, all of this. Okay, yes. All right. It is just me. Thank you so much for letting me know. Let's move ahead. The josh is very high. We have to make sure that we clear our exam with flying colors, and that is what I want from you. I want you all to clear your exam. That is why I'm in a hurry right now. I'll try to summarize everything. So what we have to do is, from accounting cycle, we have to understand certain terms, and I'll try to explain all the terms to you. First of all, we have transaction. What is a transaction? The first task of accounting is to identify the transaction. This is what we had checked. Let me show you here. Okay, this is it. So we had identifying, then measuring, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, interpreting, and communicating. So I is there. I is for identifying, and this is what we are doing in transactions. We have to identify the transactions of financial character. It is very important that the transactions are of financial character and not qualitative. When I say qualitative, I mean to talk about the qualities. Let's say, for example, there is a manager who has very good relations with the client. Okay, it could be platonic, it could be any kind of relation. Okay, you get the point. So those relations do not matter to me if I cannot convert it into a monetary transaction. Okay, so we do not care about emotions, we do not care about relations. We are very practical people. We only care about quantitative data, or should I say the transactions that can be measured in monetary terms. No. Or when I say, okay, let me put it this way. When I say generally, if we are not maintaining the subsidiary books of the business, what we do is we post all the, first of all, we record all the transactions by posting their entries to journal, and then we post those transactions to the ledger account. Okay. But let's say, for example, we are maintaining separate subsidiary books for purchase, for sales, for real accounts. If we are doing that, then in that case, all those transactions which are not going to any of the subsidiary books, we post that into general journal, and then from there we post it to the general ledger account. We will cover that later on. I hope I was able to explain it to you. Okay, so transactions, the first task of accounting is to identify the transactions of financial character and measure them in terms of money. Okay, this is very important. This is coming from a concept called money measurement concept. We will see that later on. Money measurement concept. Okay. Transactions may include a debt payoff, any purchase or acquisition of asset. Acquisition of asset means purchasing the asset simply. And then sales revenue, any other expenses incurred. I hope it is clear to you. Okay, then let's move ahead. Journal entries. With the transaction set in place, the next step is to record these transactions in the company's journal, chronological order. It is very important to follow the chronological order. Let's say, for example, you had a transaction of 1st April, and then you had a transaction on 10th of April. So it is very important for you to record the transaction first of 1st April, and then after that the 10th April. You cannot do like, okay, I like the 10th April transaction more, so I'll record it first and then move ahead to 1st April. That is not possible. That is not what you should do. Generally, it is followed in businesses, to be very honest, but that is not what you should do for the exam. So journal entries, after identify transactions, you pass journal entries, and after that, you come to posting the transactions which were passed in the journal to the ledger. Now, coming to your doubt. So let's say, for example, a business is maintaining subsidiary books. What are subsidiary books? These are additional books other than the journal and ledger. So we have cash book. In that, we have purchase book. And just like with great powers come great responsibility, we have with every purchase book, there always will be a purchase return book. Okay. So I'll write purchase return book. Okay. Then we have sales book and sales return book. So please note that every cash transaction is recorded through cash book. Okay. When I say cash, I mean cash plus bank. So any transactions from cash or bank will be recorded in your cash book. Cash book because has two columns. One is for cash and the other is for bank. Okay. Now, when I say cash sales, so cash sales are recorded in cash book. When I say credit sales, so credit sales and credit purchases are recorded in their respective books. So for example, we have purchase book. So we will record here credit purchases. Please note, this is very important for your exam. And for sales, we will record credit sales. Okay. And after that, in purchase return book, we record only those purchase return which were primarily of credit nature. So only credit purchase return, and same goes with sales return book, only credit sales return. Okay, I hope it is clear. Yeah, returns, right. Okay, I missed an S over here. I purchase returns, right. Okay, so that is what it is. I hope I was able to explain it to you. Now there is another book which is not covered here, but I'll write it anyway. That is called general journal, or let me take another slide for you. General journal, which is also called or journal proper. Okay, general journal or journal proper. All those transactions which cannot be covered in any of the books mentioned here are covered in general journal or journal proper. For example, the opening entries. So we have sundry assets, sundry liabilities. We pass an opening entry to start our accounting year. So for all those transactions would come here. Other than that, the nominal account transaction that you were talking about, somebody was talking about it in the chat section. All those transactions will be recorded, which are of not cash nature or credit nature. Okay, let's move ahead. Yes, great, perfect. Let's move ahead. Terms. Then comes a trial balance. So trial balance is more like a summary of the account balances that are there in the ledger. So let's say, for example, I make an account and I get buy balance CD. Buy balance CD, some amount, let's say 100 rupees. Okay. So what I'll do is, if the balance CD is on the credit side, this is the credit side of an account, this is the debit side of an account. If the balance CD is on the credit side, that means it has a debit balance. So in trial balance, what I'll write is debit, credit, and let's say it is asset. So asset and debit balance would be there. So trial balance is a statement which shows the closing balances of the accounts. The accounts of which book? The ledger book. Okay. Oh, great. People are getting it. Great. So that is the thing. At the end of accounting period, which may be quarterly, monthly, or yearly depending on the business. Traditionally it is of 12 months, that means yearly. A total balance is calculated for the accounts, and that is what we do. So let's say, for example, this was for the asset, right? If I take don't worry kids, the exam would be great. Okay, so I have written liabilities over here, and let's say the balance is there, to balance ED. This is the balancing figure. This is balancing figure, and amount is, let's say, 500. Debit, credit, right? So the closing, the balancing figure is coming on the debit side. That means this account has a credit balance. We'll come back here and we'll write liabilities. Liabilities. I'm using the short form to save time, 500 rupees. Okay. So I'll write 500 over here. Please note that your trial balance should always match. If your trial balance is not matching, let's say, for example, in our case, the trial balance is not matching. So what we'll do, we'll take the balance of the side which is of higher nature. So 500 is there, right? That means this is the bigger side. I've written 500 on both sides, 500, 500. Check now. 500 is the total, and my side is short by 400 rupees, the debit side. So I'll write 400 over here. And what I'll do is, I'll write suspense account. I'll write suspense account over here. This is how I balance trial balance in case the trial balance is not matching. Traditionally, or should I say in the best case scenario, the trial balance should always match. If it is not matching, you can write suspense account and you can then tally your trial balance. Okay. Yes, it is just me. Yeah, this is the suspense account. So it is called suspense account because we don't know from where the balance is coming. We don't know from where this 400 is coming. But I am writing here so that my trial balance should match. Okay. So this is trial balance. Overview of trial balance. Then we have financial statements. So in financial statements, like I said, we have trading account, profit and loss account, and balance sheet. And it is very important to understand the real purpose of these accounts. Trial balance, the balance sheet is there to tell you about the financial position of a business at a particular time. So I'll write it over here. We make balance sheet. Why do we make a balance sheet? Because we want to ascertain the financial position. Please mark my words over here. Financial position at a given time, at a given point of time. At a given point of time. Okay, so balance sheet is there to ascertain the financial position of a business at a given point of time. So let's say, for example, I'm making the balance sheet on 30th of March. That means it shows the assets and liabilities of the business on 30th of March. Okay. Indian gamer, no need to worry. You are here. Rishabh sir is here. That is me, Rishabh. Okay, and I'm going to guide you for the accountancy part at least. I haven't got Usha. I think it's late for you to say this, that you haven't got your admit card yet. Okay, so this is how a balance sheet works. It shows the financial position of a business at a given point of time. Okay. On the other hand, we have profit and loss account. Trading, I'll write both of them together because they are prepared together. The trading account and profit and loss account, I've written it together, and I'm writing these are prepared to know financial performance. Please mark my words. I've written financial performance over here. What we want to do over here is we want to ascertain the financial performance of a business, and this is for a duration of time. This is not at a point of time. This is for a duration of time, for a period of time. I'll write for a period of time. All right. Okay. Sir, question कर सकते हैं for on safe and advantage because I'm very weak in it. Hanji. So students, please make sure that you are not just attempt the questions if you think it is right. Do not do the guesswork right over here, because the problem is, if you do the guesswork, if your answer is incorrect, then you'll have to face the consequences. So only mark those answers which you are sure about which you are sure. Okay, are you all prepared? We are preparing, Lunaria. Okay, so financial performance is known by the trading and profit and loss account, and balance sheet tells us about the financial position of the business. Okay, हाँ आई गॉट इट. अच्छा, चेरिश, आपसे मेरी बात नहीं हुई थी. Just believe in yourself, that is what you can do, and pray for the Lord. शर्मास की बात कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है चेरिश, आई गॉट इट. कोई बात नहीं यार, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. Now there is a difference between bookkeeping, accounting and accountancy. You need to understand this difference. I'll write it over here. So this is your bookkeeping, and then you have your, oh, the circle is too big. This is your bookkeeping, and the other circle that encompasses bookkeeping is accounting, and the other circle that encompasses both accounting and bookkeeping is accountancy. So this is how you can remember. Accountancy is the grandfather, accounting is the father, and bookkeeping is the baby. Okay, so now let's understand the difference between bookkeeping and accounting. So bookkeeping is to maintain systematic records of transactions of financial nature. Okay, on the other hand, accounting begins where bookkeeping ends, to ascertain the net results and financial position of a business. So accounting involves bookkeeping as well, and as well as some other steps. Okay, phase. It is the recording phase of an accounting statement. It is the summarizing phase. What we are doing in bookkeeping is we are recording the transactions. On the other hand, in accounting, what we are doing is we are summarizing the entire transaction, and we are trying to understand the results of the transactions that we have recorded. Okay, stages. It is the primary stage. Please note that bookkeeping is the primary stage. It is the smallest steps that you can take for accounting. On the other hand, after bookkeeping ends, we start with accounting. Okay, so accounting starts where bookkeeping ends. That is why it is the secondary stage. It is routine in nature. Bookkeeping is routine in nature. Like, it happens throughout the entire year. You make transactions, you record those transactions, you classify and posting and everything. On the other hand, accounting is an analytical in nature. Okay. All right, let's move ahead. It is done by junior staff, people who could not clear CA. On the other hand, accounting is done by senior staff, people who could do CA, who could complete their CA. Okay, let's move ahead. So bookkeeping is there. Bookkeeping is recording the business transactions. This is what we have seen. Recording the business transaction which is of financial nature. Please note that monetary aspect is very important. It is mainly concerned with recording or maintenance. This is what we have seen. And bookkeeping is the primary stage, and it is of routine nature, like it happens throughout the year. Let's move ahead. Accounting is considered as a system which collects and processes financial information of a business. Okay, and it begins where bookkeeping ends. So keep that in mind. Accounting begins where bookkeeping ends. On the other hand, I have not written accountancy over here. It is for your knowledge only. Accountancy is the study, the practices of accounting as a whole. So let's say, for example, we have a lot of concepts of accounting, and we are doing research in accounting, like how to present our financial statements in better terms, and what software should be there for accounting. So all of that is accountancy. Okay, so accountancy is the gyan ka bhandar for accounting. This is what you can understand. Let's move ahead. Sub-disciplines within accounting, we have 3 sub-disciplines. That is very important for you. I'll write it over here for your reference. I'm seeing a lot of students participating in the chat, and they are worried about their exam. Please focus on whatever I'm teaching right now over here, because this will directly help you in the exam. And the point is, if after attending this session, if you can correct your, let's say, 10 to 12 questions, then the purpose of this session would be fulfilled. Okay, so please focus here. I know It is very difficult to stay calm in this situation, but this is what I expect from you. Okay, Rider Gaming is asking for inside. Don't do that. Please focus on the A. Okay. So we have sub-disciplines. Sub-disciplines. We have financial accounting. We have cost accounting. We have management accounting. And there are a lot of types of accounting. You don't have to worry about it. These three are important right now. Cost accounting is done by a cost accountant in India, that is CMA. Financial accounting we do through a chartered accountant, and management accountant is actually seen by a cost and management accountant, which is CMA again. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. So management accounting draws the relevant information. What it does, it draws the relevant information mainly from the financial accounting and cost accounting. So it is like the end stage for accounting, which helps the management budgeting, measuring profitability, taking pricing decisions, capital expenditure, and other decisions. So understand, first we prepare financial accounting, then we go ahead with the cost accounting, and after the results of financial accounting and cost accounting are there, then we do management accounting to make budgets, to understand the profitability, to know what kind of services are being provided by the management. Is my management doing a good job? Great. If the results are good, great. But in case the management is not doing correctly, what we do is we take corrective actions in that case. Okay, I think we should make JC. Indian Gamer, I am not sure how are you preparing for the exam right now. Okay, so let's see. Financial accounting assists in keeping systematic record of financial transactions. This is what we had studied so far. It involves the preparation and presentation of financial reports in order to arrive at organizational success and financial soundness. What I mean by financial soundness. So what you can say is a firm is financially sound if it has cash in surplus of whatever it has to pay to the outsiders. For example, let's say I have assets of 100 rupees and liabilities of 50 rupees. Okay, so for every 1 rupee of liability that I have to pay, I have an asset worth 2 rupees. So I would say, okay, this is a financially sound firm. On the other hand, if I have assets of, let's say, 50 and I have liabilities of 50, that is a problematic situation for me, because what I need to do is for every every 1 rupee that I have to pay, I have assets worth only 50 rupees or like 1 rupee. Okay, so this is outsiders liability. I'm not counting equity over here. This is outsiders liability. I hope I was able to explain it to you. Let's move ahead now. Then we have, okay, we have advantages. We have financial accounting, management accounting. Okay, I'll tell you about the cost accounting. So what we do in cost accounting is we try to understand the cost behind a particular product. So let's say, for example, I am making this pen. So for making this pen, what I need to do is I need to ascertain the material cost. So the plastic and the refill should be made by the plastic. So the body and the refill should be made by the plastic, right? So I need to ascertain the amount of plastic that I have to buy to make one pen. What after that, what we need to do is we need to understand who is going to make the pen. Am I going to use the machinery or am I going to use the labor to make the pen? I try to understand the cost behind if I get the pen made by the machine, and I try to understand the cost behind if I get my pen made by the labor. After that, I take a decision and I choose an alternative, and then I move ahead. And after that, I see, okay, the other cost, other overheads, and that is what cost accounting is all about. It is about minimizing your cost. First of all, ascertaining your cost of producing whatever you are selling, and then minimizing that cost. This is what cost accounting is all about. Let's move ahead. Advantages of accounting. So advantages, first advantage is it protects your business assets. How? let's say for example I'm buying 100 pens, okay, and I'm not keeping a record anywhere. So a chotu comes in and he takes some pens and keeps it in his pocket and move ahead. I'm losing money, right? But since I do not have a record, so I cannot check. So what accounting does is it protects my business assets. That is first step. Facilitate settlement of tax liabilities. So you all understand that I have to pay the tax to the government, right? Whatever tax is there, it is calculated on the basis of my income, and I need to calculate my income, and for that I need to do accounting. If I'm not preparing accounts, I'll not be able to ascertain my income, and the government will do. And in that case, please note that the tax is always charged on a higher end if the government is doing your job. So for saving money, I prepare accounts. The next step is replace memory. I do not have to remember everything in my memory for the sake of it. I am recording transactions. I am done with my work. Facilitates comparative study. If I'm preparing accounts, I can compare my performance with myself. Let's say, for example, I'm preparing accounts for 2025. I can compare my performance with my past years, like 2024, and I can also compare my performance with my peers. Let's say, for example, if Tata wants to compare their performance, they need to have accounts, and they can compare their performance with Reliance or any other organization that is working in the same domain. So accounting facilitates comparison. First, and the fifth is facilitate loans. If I want to take a loan from bank, what I need to do is I need to visit the bank, and bank would say, okay, show me your financial statements, then only you will get the loan. So I provide them, sir, this is the financial statements. They see the financial statement, and according to that, I get the loan. So facilitates loan, fifth point. And the sixth point is facilitates sale of business. If I want to sell my business, I need to ascertain what are my assets and what are my liabilities. Accordingly, the buyer then would make a decision, and this is all done if I get my financial statements and if I get it correctly made. Okay, let's move ahead. I'll just drink water. Give me a second, please. Thank you for waiting. Let's move ahead. Disadvantages of accounting. First disadvantage, it does not pay heed to relationships. If you have a good relationship with your client or customers, we don't care. We only care about monetary terms, quantitative data. So it does not include qualitative elements. Very important point. Only quantitative. Only quantitative. Okay, that is first point. Second point is accounting may lead to window dressing. What is window dressing? Please understand that. Window dressing is I am not making good results, but I am showing good results. Example, let's say my sale for the year was 100 rupees. Okay, but my accountant was kind of fishy. What he did was instead of writing 100, he added two zeros so that he can get extra commission from the manager. So this is what he did. Instead of 100, he wrote 10,000. That is window dressing. Manipulating accounts to favor yourself. Manipulating accounts to get some good results, and that is what people do generally in accounting. That is very possible. The third point is accounting is based on historical cost. Accounting does not pay heed to market prices. So let's say, for example, I am buying this pen for rupees 10. Okay, I would not care about it, about the market price of this pen now. That means if this pen goes up and let's say this pen is now worth 100 rupees, I don't care about it. On the other hand, if the price goes down and let's say this pen is of 1 rupees, I don't care. In my books, I will record this pen for 10 rupees only. I hope सबको clear है ये. ठीक है जी, आगे चलते हैं. अच्छा बच्चा, somebody is saying I should combine Hindi as well. Please tell me if my English is fine, or do you want me to use Hindi as well for better understanding? Please tell me in the chat section. Somebody had sent that message, but then he deleted the message. I don't know how. Okay. People are fine with the English. Okay. Let's move ahead then. Types of accounting information. So we have three types of accounting information. ठीक है. We have three types of accounting information: account information related to profit or surplus. Then we have information related to financial position. This we get from balance sheet. This we get from profit and loss statement or profit and loss account. And information about cash flow, like how much cash is going out of my business, how much cash is coming in inside my business. This I get from cash flow statement. Cash flow statement. Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, people are fine with English. Okay, let's move ahead. Then we have accounting principles. We have what we call generally accepted accounting principles, also known as GAAP. Okay, understand the first of all, please keep in mind this full form can come in your exam as an MCQ. So keep that in mind. Generally accepted accounting principles, also known as GAAP, GAAP. Okay. Generally accepted accounting principles are basic accounting principles and guidelines which provide the framework for more detailed and comprehensive accounting rules, standards, and other industry specific accounting practices. So you must know that there are multiple methods that we can follow for accounting. Okay. But which method should I follow? Should I follow the written down value method of depreciation, or should I follow the straight line method of depreciation? Like these are two different types of depreciation methods. Okay. If a firm is using WDV and I'm using SLM, the comparison would become difficult between the financial statements. So what the government does is, this is like an this is like a very great thing. They developed generally accepted accounting principle which are applicable globally. So if you want to compare your balance sheet of let's say Reliance to a company which is there in America, you can compare that by understanding everything behind it. Okay, that is very simple, and that has been made simple by the application of GAAP, also known as GAAP. Okay, let's move ahead. GAAP covers basic accounting principles and guidelines. Accounting standards usually issued by the premier accounting body of the country. In India, we have Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Okay, that does the work. And then we have industry specific accounting practices to cover unusual scenarios. There are cases where we have unusual scenarios and that are covered by the GAAP or GAAP. English, अच्छा ठीक है, English use कर लेता हूँ, if that's okay. If everyone is okay, I'll use English. Please एक बारी बता दो मुझे कोई. I am okay with English if people are fine with it. I'd love to use English if you are fine with it. Please let me know एक बारी. ठीक है जी, चलिए लेट्स मूव अहेड. मैं इंग्लिश यूज करता हूँ अब, क्योंकि बहुत बच्चों की रिक्वायरमेंट आ रही है सर इंग्लिश यूज कर लीजिए, तो आई विल ट्राई टू यूज इंग्लिश नाउ. लेट्स मूव अहेड. अब हमें ये टर्म्स थोड़ी सी समझनी है, ओवरव्यू देता हूँ थोड़ा थोड़ा. We'll try to understand all of it. So business हम क्यों करते हैं? We do business because we want to earn profit. So business is the simple act of earning money through uh, not through the profession or the employment. So we are not the employees, we are not a professional body, or we are not professionals. What we do is we earn the profit by running our own business. That is what business is. And then trade. What is trade? Trade is buying and selling goods. Goods खरीदना और बेचना ही trade होता है मेरा. Then profession. Profession is something which is very complicated in its own sense. तो आप क्या होता है? Let's talk about profession now. फटाफट से एक ओवरव्यू दे देता हूं आपको. प्रोफेशन. इन प्रोफेशन व्हाट यू डू इज, आपके पास प्रोफेशन में देयर इज अ प्रोफेशनल बॉडी. प्रोफेशनल बॉडी, इसकी आपको मेंबरशिप लेना जरूरी है. यू हैव टू टेक द मेंबरशिप ऑफ दिस प्रोफेशनल बॉडी टू बिकम अ प्रोफेशनल. membership necessary. For example, India में if you want to become a chartered accountant, you have to take the membership with Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So CA के लिए we have ICAI. For doctors we have doctors we have IMA, which is Indian Medical Association, and for CA doctors and for lawyers we have Bar Council. ठीक है, कोई भी प्रोफेशन में आप ऐसे ही जाके बैठ नहीं सकते कि आज मुझे सीए बनने का बनना है, लेट्स मूव अहेड एंड बिकम अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. बार काउंसिल आपको जो भी रिक्वायरमेंट होती है वो फुलफिल करनी है. किसकी रिक्वायरमेंट? प्रोफेशनल बॉडी की. ओके, which faculty is not picking up the phone? Okay Usha, let's move ahead. ठीक है, ठीक है. Before that, let's cover these items. So I've covered business, I've covered trade. Trade is simple buying and selling of goods. आप गुड्स खरीद रहे हो, गुड्स बेच रहे हो, दैट इज ट्रेड. देन प्रोप्राइटर, प्रोप्राइटर इज द पर्सन हु इज रनिंग द बिजनेस. सो आपका अगर मोवर्स वाले अंकल जो ठेला लगा रहे हैं, दैट इज अ प्रोप्राइटर. ऑन दी अदर हैंड अगर मैं बात करूं, कोई अकेला इंसान बिजनेस रन कर रहा है, दैट इज अ प्रोप्राइटर. और प्रोप्राइटर एक बहुत ज्यादा एक्सेप्टेबल फॉर्म ऑफ बिजनेस है. The person who is running the business is proprietor. Proprietorship is the most acceptable form of business. ठीक है. तो प्रोप्राइटर क्या होता है? बिजनेस का ओनर जो अकेला बिजनेस चला रहा है. मोमोज वाले अंकल मोमोज का ठेला लगा रहे हैं, दैट वो मोमोज वाले अंकल आपके प्रोप्राइटर हैं. ऑन दी अदर हैंड अगर हम बात करें, इफ वी टॉक अबाउट somebody else जो अपना बिजनेस रन कर रहा है, वो भी प्रोप्राइटर है. तो प्रोप्राइटर इज द बिजनेस ओनर इन प्रोप्राइटरशिप. Okay, let's move ahead. We have capital. Capital is the amount invested in the business by the business owner. Business and business owner are separate entities. Please understand. So, amount of business, the amount of capital the amount invested by the business owner in the business is called capital. Then we have assets. Assets are the sampatti, or should I say the economic resources of an organization. We have fixed asset which last for more than 12 months. Current assets which last for less than 12 months. So we take the benefit out of it within 12 months. Then we have liabilities. We have long-term liabilities, the liabilities which we pay after 12 months. जैसे long-term liabilities का example हो गया, हमारा कोई लोन ले रखा है हमने कार पे, तो लोन 5-6 साल चलेगा, that is my long-term liability. Short-term liability would be वो liabilities जो 12 महीने से पहले पे हो जाए. ठीक है जी, चलिए आगे चलते हैं. Purchases, whatever we purchase, we are talking about raw material over here. परचेजेस में सिर्फ और सिर्फ हम रॉ मटेरियल को लेते हैं और कुछ नहीं. मैंने पेन खरीदा, क्या मेरा पेन रॉ मटेरियल है? मेरा काम है जैकेट्स बनाने का, तो पेन मेरा रॉ मटेरियल नहीं है. ऑन दी अदर हैंड, if I'm buying if I'm buying cloth for making the jacket, that is my raw material. Then sales, we are talking about sales over here for the finished goods and services. Finished goods, तो मेरा जो भी मेरा प्रोडक्ट है, मैं उसे बेच के जो ले रहा हूं, that comes in sale. Purchase return, मैंने रॉ मटेरियल कोई खराब आया उसे रिटर्न कर दिया, दैट इज माय परचेज रिटर्न. ऑन दी अदर हैंड, इफ वी टॉक अबाउट सेल्स, सो कस्टमर सामने से आया एंड हमें कुछ सामान वापस दे गया, दैट इज माय सेल्स रिटर्न. ओके, ओके, लेट्स मूव अहेड. रेवेन्यू, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द स्टॉक. अनसोल्ड गुड्स, अनसोल्ड फिनिश्ड गुड्स इज माय स्टॉक. फॉर एग्जांपल, मैंने पेन्स बनाए, 100 पेन्स बनाए, सिर्फ 50 बिके, साल के आखिर में आई गेट 50 पेन्स lying at my warehouse, that is my stock. So unsold finished goods is my stock. ठीक है, let's move ahead. Revenue, what is revenue? Revenue is nothing but sales. जो भी मैं अपने बिजनेस में सेल कर रहा हूं वो माइनस सेल्स रिटर्न. तो सेल्स माइनस सेल्स रिटर्न की अगर मैं बात करूं, दैट इज माय रेवेन्यू. सेल्स माइनस सेल्स रिटर्न. देन वी हैव एक्सपेंसेस. एक्सपेंसेस क्या है? मेरे बिजनेस के खर्चे, जो भी खर्चे हैं मेरे बिजनेस को चलाने के लिए, वो सारे यहाँ पे आ जाते हैं. उसके बाद एक्सपेंडिचर. एक्सपेंडिचर क्या है? जो भी मेरे बिजनेस से बाहर जा रहा है पैसा. It could be for buying a fixed asset, it could be for buying the current asset, or it could be related to some expenses. So in expenditure we get everything. So I'll write it over here for your reference. Expenditure, we have two types of expenditure: capital and revenue. Revenue expenditure involves day-to-day operation expenses, like for example buying clothes or for making the jacket, or paying salaries to the employees. That is what is covered in revenue. On the other hand, in capital expenditure, what we cover is, we, let's say for example, we are buying a big machinery, that is covered over here. What we do over here is, this is of capital nature, so we buy assets over here. Okay, and when I say assets, I mean long term assets. And in revenue expenditure, all L things would come here. Okay, let's move ahead. We have covered this. We have seen incomes. So we have two types of receipts: revenue receipts, capital receipts. रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट्स ऑफ आर ऑफ रेवेन्यू नेचर, जैसे हमारा कोई हो गया, हमने इंटरेस्ट रिसीव कर लिया, कोई कमीशन रिसीव कर लिया, दैट इज माय रेवेन्यू रिसीट. ऑन दी अदर हैंड, अगर मैं कैपिटल रिसीट की बात करूं, मैंने कोई अपना फिक्स्ड एसेट बेच दिया एंड देन आई एम गेटिंग द मनी, दैट इज माय कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर. ओके, सो सॉरी, दैट इज माय कैपिटल रिसीट. देन वी हैव लॉस. लॉस इज सिंपल सी बात है यार, लॉस का तो सिंपल सा लॉजिक है. जब मेरा एक्सपेंडिचर ज्यादा हो मेरा इनकम से, when my expenditure is more than income, that is my case of loss. On the other hand, gain का क्या हो गया? उल्टा. gain is उल्टा. income is greater than expenditure. income is greater than expenditure. okay, cost क्या है? किसी भी चीज को मैन्युफैक्चर करके जो मेरा खर्चा बैठा, that is my cost. okay, और फिर डिस्काउंट क्या है? डिस्काउंट इज, आप अपना जो प्राइस था उससे कुछ कम में दे रहे हो. आपको पता ही होगा, वी आर इंडियंस, वी लव डिस्काउंट, राइट? दिस इज नॉट काइंड. ऑल राइट, ओके. One important thing, trade discount is not recorded in the books, cash discount is. Please make a note, trade discount is not recorded in the books. Not recorded in the books. Cash discount recorded. कैश डिस्काउंट रिकॉर्ड होता है, ट्रेड डिस्काउंट रिकॉर्ड नहीं होता. ये मैंने देख लिया जी, एक्सपेंडिचर देख लिया मैंने, ये सब देख लिया. अब देखते हैं बिजनेस एंटिटी कॉन्सेप्ट. बिजनेस एंटिटी कॉन्सेप्ट इज आल्सो कॉल्ड अकाउंटिंग एंटिटी कॉन्सेप्ट. अकाउंटिंग एंटिटी कॉन्सेप्ट. और बिजनेस एंटिटी कॉन्सेप्ट या अकाउंटिंग एंटिटी कॉन्सेप्ट बोलता है, मेरा बिजनेस और बिजनेस ओनर अलग अलग है. माय बिजनेस एंड माय बिजनेस ओनर आर सेपरेट. फॉर एग्जांपल, we have Three Two and Company on one hand, on the other hand we have Shraddha Kapoor. okay, तो श्रद्धा कपूर है हमारे पास, मतलब हमारे पास नहीं है, एग्जांपल में है. श्रद्धा कपूर इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम Three Two and Company. तो दिस इज माय बिजनेस एंड दिस इज माय बिजनेस ओनर. ओके, तो बिजनेस ओनर बिजनेस में देता है कैपिटल, एंड कैपिटल से बिजनेस पैसा अर्न करती है, उस कैपिटल पे आपको देती है प्रॉफिट. तो Three Two and Company is my business and we prepare accounts only for the business. We are not preparing accounts for Shraddha Kapoor. We are preparing accounts for Three Two and Company. I hope I was able to explain it to you. Let's move ahead. Money measurement concept says, or money measurement principle says, we record only those transactions that can be measured in terms of money. जिस ट्रांजैक्शंस को मैं पैसे में नाप सकता हूं उसे ही रिकॉर्ड करूंगा. तो इट कुड बी रुपी, डॉलर. पैसे में नाप सकते हो, रिकॉर्ड कर दो. पैसे में नहीं नाप सकते, मत रिकॉर्ड करो. दिस इज व्हाट मनी मेजरमेंट कॉन्सेप्ट बोलता है. आगे चलते हैं. अब अगर आप इसमें समझो कि मेरा रिलेशन है कस्टमर के साथ बहुत अच्छा, क्या मैं उसे मेजर कर सकता हूं मनी की टर्म्स में? द आंसर इज नो. सो मनी मेजरमेंट कॉन्सेप्ट सिंपल सी बात ये बोलता है, पैसे में नाप सकते हो तो रिकॉर्ड कर लो, नहीं तो नहीं रिकॉर्ड करोगे. आगे चलते हैं. फिर आता हमारे पास कॉस्ट प्रिंसिपल. दिस इज आल्सो कॉल्ड हिस्टोरिकल कॉस्ट. इसमें क्या होता है, वी रिकॉर्ड द एसेट ऑन द ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट एंड नॉट द मार्केट वैल्यू. आपने जिस पर एसेट खरीदा उसे आप उस पर रिकॉर्ड करोगे, उस वैल्यू पर, ना कि उसकी मार्केट वैल्यू. तो कॉस्ट, इसका हुक आपके लिए है, कॉस्ट परफेक्ट, मार्केट वैल्यू गंदा. ठीक है, वी आर नॉट रिकॉर्डिंग द मार्केट वैल्यू, वी आर रिकॉर्डिंग ओनली द कॉस्ट. दैट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस. आगे चलते हैं. डुअल एस्पेक्ट प्रिंसिपल. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड दिस इज द बैकबोन ऑफ अकाउंटिंग पर से. लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड. तो दिस सेज all of my assets would always be equal to all of my liabilities. Assets equals liabilities. Okay. अब इसमें liabilities में हमारे पास दो चीजें आ जाती हैं. We get external liabilities plus external liabilities plus capital. तो हमारे पास दो चीजें होती है इसमें. लाइबिलिटीज को तोड़ के लिख दिया मैंने, एक्सटर्नल लाइबिलिटीज प्लस कैपिटल. कैपिटल मेरी होती है इंटरनल लाइबिलिटी. दिस इज माय इंटरनल लाइबिलिटी. ओके, तो मैं इसे ऐसे लिख सकता हूं, असेट्स इक्वल्स कैपिटल प्लस लाइबिलिटीज. दिस इज योर अकाउंटिंग इक्वेशन, प्लीज ध्यान रखना. दिस इज योर अकाउंटिंग इक्वेशन, प्लीज ध्यान रखना. ओके, इट इज जस्ट मी. रिद्धिमा आपको फॉलो कर लेगी, पहले इधर पढ़ लो, पेपर है आपका. अकाउंटिंग इक्वेशन वो अनफॉलो भी कर देगी बेटा, पढ़ लो, अभी पेपर चल रहा है ना. कोल्ड डेविल, डिड यू फाइंड माय अकाउंट? पढ़ लो नालायक, पेपर है तुम्हारा, क्या कर रहे हो ये सब कुछ. ठीक है, तो अकाउंटिंग इक्वेशन क्या है? असेट्स इक्वल्स कैपिटल प्लस लायबिलिटीज. और हमारे जो डुअल एस्पेक्ट बोलता है कि मेरा असेट्स वुड ऑलवेज बी इक्वल टू लायबिलिटी, मतलब दोनों साथ ही साथ चलेंगे हमारे. लायबिलिटीज में हमारे पास क्या होता है? एक्सटर्नल लायबिलिटीज प्लस कैपिटल. तो एक्सटर्नल लायबिलिटीज को हम प्यार से छोटे फॉर्म में लायबिलिटीज लिख देते हैं, और कैपिटल को इंटरनल लायबिलिटी बोला जाता है, बिकॉज ये तो बिजनेस वाले तो घर के लोग हैं यार, तो वही हो गया. ठीक है, हाँ देखो अब कह रहे हैं कॉस्ट प्रिंसिपल रिपीट कर दो. कॉस्ट प्रिंसिपल इज नथिंग, आप जो भी आपका एसेट है, यू आर रिकॉर्डिंग एट द कॉस्ट दैट यू आर पेइंग. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई एम बाइंग दिस पेन फॉर 10 रुपीज. मैंने ये पेन 10 रुपए का खरीदा. अब आई डोंट केयर इसका मार्केट प्राइस कुछ भी हो जाए. अगर इसका मार्केट प्राइस इज 12 रुपीज, आई डोंट केयर अबाउट इट. इसका मार्केट प्राइस गोज डाउन एंड बिकम्स 1 रुपी, आई डोंट केयर. आई विल रिकॉर्ड दिस पेन एट 10 ओनली, which is the cost that I actually paid to buy this pen. Okay, this is what cost principle was. Okay, let's move ahead. चलिए जी आगे चलते हैं. Sir, fully prepared, just here to revise. ठीक है जी, बहुत अच्छे. Then we have revenue recognition concept. This is also called revenue recognition principle. इसमें क्या होता है? We recognize revenue as soon as it is realized. इसका मतलब जैसे ही मैंने सेल कर दी, उसके बदले चाहे कैश आया हो ना आया हो, जैसे ही मैंने सेल कर दी, आई विल रिकॉग्नाइज माय रेवेन्यू. दिस इज व्हाट रेवेन्यू रिकॉग्निशन प्रिंसिपल सेज, कि एज सून एज योर मनी इज रियलाइज्ड, चाहे मिले या ना मिले, आप रिकॉर्ड कर लो उसे. ठीक है, दिस इज व्हाट रेवेन्यू रिकॉग्निशन इज. यार मेरे से भी इंटरैक्ट कर लो यार. ठीक है, ठीक है, एक बार मेरे से भी इंटरैक्ट कर लो प्लीज बच्चों. ठीक है जी, आगे चलते हैं. हमारे पास है मैचिंग प्रिंसिपल. व्हाट इज माय मैचिंग प्रिंसिपल? ठीक है, तो मैचिंग प्रिंसिपल क्या बोलता है, ध्यान से सुनना. मैचिंग प्रिंसिपल इज, आपका कोई एक्सपेंस हुआ है कुछ रेवेन्यू अर्न करने के लिए, एक्सपेंस रिलेटेड टू रेवेन्यू, तो उसे रिकॉर्ड करेंगे. मतलब आपका मैच होना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इस पेन को 20 रुपीज का बेचने के लिए मैंने 10 रुपीज का खर्चा करा, तो मैं दोनों को रिकॉर्ड करूंगा, 10 रुपीज के खर्चे को भी एंड 20 रुपीज की सेल को भी. आई विल रिकॉर्ड बोथ द एस्पेक्ट्स, द एक्सपेंस पार्ट एज वेल एज द रेवेन्यू पार्ट. सो इफ आई एम अर्निंग एनी काइंड ऑफ रेवेन्यू, आई विल रिकॉर्ड द रिलेटेड एक्सपेंस विद इट. ओके, चलिए जी आगे चलते हैं. फुल डिस्क्लोजर प्रिंसिपल्स. आई विल नॉट हाइड एनीथिंग, आई विल टेल एज इट इज. मैं कुछ नहीं छुपाऊंगा, मैं सब सच बोलूंगा, सब कुछ बताऊंगा. तो अगर मुझे ये पेन बनाने में 10 रुपए लगे और पेन की सेल 12 रुपए की हुई है, तो ऐसा नहीं होगा मैं कॉस्ट छुपा लूं और सेल दिखा दूं. आई रिकॉर्ड बोथ द एस्पेक्ट्स. ठीक है, सो दिस इज व्हाट फुल डिस्क्लोजर मींस. देन वी हैव कंसिस्टेंसी प्रिंसिपल. कंसिस्टेंट रहो जिंदगी में, पढ़ाई से रिलेटेड हो या कुछ भी हो, अकाउंट से रिलेटेड हो. ये कंसिस्टेंसी प्रिंसिपल क्या बोलता है आपका, आपकी जो भी अकाउंटिंग है वो कंसिस्टेंट होनी चाहिए. सो इफ यू आर फॉलोइंग वन पर्टिकुलर मेथड, लेट्स से यू आर फॉलोइंग WDV मेथड, सो यू विल हैव टू फॉलो द WDV मेथड फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ द इयर्स. इट्स नॉट लाइक आपने जनवरी में WDV यूज कर लिया और उसके बाद बाकी 11 महीने SLM मेथड यूज कर रहे हो, स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड नहीं. आपको दोनों, वो पूरा मेथड WDV अगर आपने चूज कर लिया साल की शुरुआत में, पूरे साल आपका WDV लगना चाहिए. दैट इज व्हाट द कंसिस्टेंसी प्रिंसिपल मींस. ओके, Let's move ahead. We have prudence concept. This is very important from your exam point of view. This says do not anticipate profit but provide for all possible losses. Do not anticipate profits but provide for all possible losses. आप प्रॉफिट एंटिसिपेट नहीं करोगे, मतलब प्रॉफिट की उम्मीद नहीं लगाओगे, आप सारे लॉसेस जो आपके हो सकते हैं उन्हें रिकॉर्ड करोगे। कि आपका कोई प्रॉफिट फ्यूचर में होने वाला है उसे रिकॉर्ड नहीं करूंगा, पर आपका कोई नुकसान होने वाला है फ्यूचर में उसे रिकॉर्ड कर लूंगा। ठीक है, दिस इज व्हाट डू नॉट एंटिसिपेट प्रॉफिट बट प्रोवाइड फॉर ऑल पॉसिबल लॉसेस मीन। लेट्स मूव अहेड। फिर मेरे पास है मटीरियलिटी कॉन्सेप्ट। I will write only those transactions in my account which is relevant for my business. For example, मेरा बिजनेस का कैपिटल था 10,000 करोड़, ठीक है, 10,000 करोड़ था, पर मेरे से 100 रुपए खो गए। Will I record this? Please let me know in the chat section. Will I record this amount 100 rupees? Green white jacket looking always eye closed. ठीक है, first of all tell me the answer to this question which I had just asked in the chat. Will I record this 100 rupees in the book? Will I record this in the books? I am waiting for the responses. बच्चों को होश ही नहीं होगा। No, okay. Ridhima is saying no. We are not going to record the amount in the books because this 100 rupee is not relevant. This is what materiality principle says. Only record those transactions which are material to you, or only record those transactions which are relevant from the business point of view. That is what it is. So no, no, no. Very good. No is the right answer. No, will not record. Very good. Who said it? Ridhima, will not record this. Very good. So we will not record 100 rupees in the books. Let's move ahead. Verifiable and objective evidence principle. What it says, we will record only those transactions for which we have the evidence. For example, I am buying this pen. So if I have the evidence for this, then only I'll record it. Otherwise, I'll not record it. Evidence-based transactions are recorded in the accounting process. We record only those transactions for which we have evidence. Then we have going concern concept. This is very important from your exam point of view. Going concern concept means for owners may come and owners may go, but the business goes on forever. इसका मतलब टाटा कंपनी 1911 में इस्टेब्लिश हुई थी, ठीक है, उनके जो फाउंडर थे जमशेदजी टाटा, वो तो गुजर भी गए, राइट, बट आज तक टाटा कंपनी चल रही है। कितने लोग आए, रतन टाटा भी गुजर गए अब तो बट बिजनेस इज गोइंग ऑन। तो गोइंग कंसर्न कॉन्सेप्ट जो होता है मेरा, वो ये बोलता है कि हम जो बिजनेस है उसे अज्यूम करते हैं कि वो जिंदगी भर चलने वाला है। आप बिजनेस इसलिए शुरू नहीं करते कि आज शुरू करा कल बंद कर देंगे, नहीं, आप बिजनेस इसलिए शुरू करते हो ताकि चलता रहे। तो ये अजम्पशन होता है हमारा कि बिजनेस विल गो ऑन फॉरएवर, ठीक है। हाउ टू डू रफ वर्क? ओके, सो you need to understand one thing. You will get the sheet. This is going to be your computer based exam, right? So you will get the sheet for that. उस पे ही करना और मत करना, ठीक है। और try to utilize the entire paper like mindfully. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने यहाँ पे लिख दिया बड़ा बड़ा 2+3 पूरी शीट खत्म। You don't have to do that. आप क्या कर रहे हो, आप mindfully, जैसे छोटा सा पार्ट में यहाँ पे लिख दिया मैंने 2+3 5, देख रहे हो। एक होता है आपने पूरा शीट यूटिलाइज कर लिया और एक होता है इतना छोटा सा पार्ट यूटिलाइज करा। तो यूज योर शीट माइंडफुली, ओके। yes yes this is enough for revising your accounts concept. Okay, let's move ahead. फिर हमारे पास आता है basis of accounting. We have two basis of accounting. First is accrual basis, the second is cash basis. We follow accounts on the basis of accrual basis. Accrual basis is जैसे ही आपका इनकम्स आर रिकॉर्डेड व्हेन दे आर अर्न्ड और अक्रूड। हमने कोई पैसा कमा लिया, मिला या नहीं मिला उसका फर्क नहीं पड़ता। फॉर एग्जांपल, मैंने ये लैपटॉप आपको बेच दिया, ठीक है, मैंने बोला बेटा पैसे, यू से सर आई डोंट हैव द मनी राइट नाउ, कैन आई पे यू लेटर? आई से ओके पे मी लेटर। I will record this sale because I've made the sale. I've earned the money. I have not received it yet, but I've earned it. I'll record it as per accrual basis. On the other hand, cash basis says आपने कोई सेल करी, जब उसका कैश आ जाए तब रिकॉर्ड करना, ठीक है. We do not follow cash basis. We follow only accrual basis. कैश बेसिस बैंड है इंडिया में फॉलो करने के लिए. We only follow accrual basis. Yes, this session is enough. I'm Ishan. This session is enough. ठीक है. चलिए जी, अक्रूवल बेसिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट, कैश बेसिस इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट, बट समझना जरूरी है, ठीक है ना. कैश बेसिस में वी रिकॉर्ड द ट्रांजैक्शंस ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ कैश रिसीव्ड और नॉट. अगर मैंने किसी चीज को बेचकर कैश रिसीव कर लिया, रिकॉर्ड कर लूंगा. किसी चीज को बेच दिया, उसे रिकॉर्ड नहीं करूंगा मैं. चलिए जी, आगे चलते हैं. फिर मेरे पास है, ये हमने देख लिया, रेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ एरर्स. वी हैव 4 काइंड्स ऑफ एरर्स. Principal errors, errors of commission, errors of omission, and we have compensating errors. 4 टाइप के एरर्स होते हैं हमारे पास. कॉम्पनसेटिंग एरर्स, एरर्स ऑफ कमीशन, एरर्स ऑफ ओमिशन और प्रिंसिपल एरर्स. प्रिंसिपल एरर्स में क्या होता है, आपका अकाउंटिंग कंसेप्ट हिला हुआ है, आपने अकाउंट्स गलत पढ़ा है, योर कॉन्सेप्ट इज नॉट राइट. ओके, तो ये आपका ट्रायल बैलेंस अफेक्ट कर सकता है या नहीं कर सकता. मे नॉट अफेक्ट ट्रायल बैलेंस. इसका मतलब क्या है सर? प्रिंसिपल एरर्स का मतलब समझो, एंट्री क्या होती है, आपने वो किसी को सेल करा, तो क्या सेल करेंगे. लेट्स से मैंने राम को सेल करी, तो राम टू सेल्स करते हैं, उसकी जगह मैंने कर दिया सेल्स टू राम. कॉन्सेप्ट ही घुमा दिया. मतलब यहां पे क्या है, मैंने एंट्री गलत किसके करी, प्रिंसिपल की एंट्री गलत करी. मतलब मैंने अपना कॉन्सेप्ट गलत लगाया. जब आप कॉन्सेप्ट गलत लगाते हो अकाउंट्स करने में, दैट इज योर प्रिंसिपल एरर. समझ आया जी? नो, इट इज नॉट. only carry pen and pencil. हाँ सुनो जादू, understand, you will get the paper from the exam center itself. You will get a paper to write your calculations or to do the rough work from the exam center. You are not allowed to carry a paper inside your examination hall. You will get the paper from the examination hall itself. Okay, and also make sure your pen is not like this. Like it should be translucent or transparent. It should not be like opaque. Okay. Yes, this session is enough for you. No, calculator isn't allowed. So principal error, जब आपका concept का लोचा हो, concept का लोचा principal error may or may not affect your trial balance. ठीक है. अब आते हैं हमारे पास error of omission. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. Let's see that. मैंने बोला errors of omission. इसमें 2 टाइप होता है. We have 2 types here. Partial omission and full omission. ये होता क्या है पर? What is it about? So your errors of omission is about भूल जाना, ट्रांजैक्शन रिकॉर्ड करना भूल गए. तो अगर आप पूरी ट्रांजैक्शन रिकॉर्ड करना भूल गए, बहुत ही बढ़िया, दैट इज योर फुल ओमिशन. वो दिस विल नॉट अफेक्ट ट्रायल बैलेंस. दिस इज नॉट गोइंग टू अफेक्ट योर ट्रायल बैलेंस, फुल ओमिशन. ठीक है. पार्शियल ओमिशन क्या होता है? पार्शियल, अच्छा, ओके ओके, आई एम सो सॉरी, हाँ, the exam is online, right? हाँ, you are not allowed to do the calculation. I think rough paper is not allowed, so try to do the calculation in your head itself यार. I forgot. हाँ, exam is online. I'm so sorry. मेरे दिमाग में I had something else in my mind. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you are right. The exam is online, so you are not allowed to have like a pen or like you are not allowed to have paper. So you will have to prepare बेटा. मतलब इतना calculation heavy नहीं होगा. Try to do it in your head only. ठीक है. अच्छा, rough paper is allowed. ठीक है, रफ पेपर इज अलाउड बट आई थिंक यू विल हैव टू बी श्योर, ट्राई टू कीप इट लाइक बिल्कुल ब्लैंक पेपर होता है ना जैसे प्रिंटर वाला होता है, दैट विल हेल्प यू। ठीक है, आई एम सो सॉरी बच्चों, हाँ ऑनलाइन एग्जाम है, आई फॉरगॉट, मेरे दिमाग में सीयूईटी चल रहा था। चलिए, हाँ रफ पेपर इज अलाउड, यू आर राइट 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 राइट, रफ पेपर इज अलाउड। हाँ ठीक है, रफ पेपर इज अलाउड, ब्लैंक पेपर रखना दैट इज बेटर। ठीक है, उस पर कुछ लिखा हुआ ना हो पहले से। चलिए जी आगे चलते हैं। सो फुल ओमिशन इज, दिस डज नॉट अफेक्ट योर ट्रायल बैलेंस। पार्शियल ओमिशन में क्या होता है, हाफ पार्ट रिकॉर्ड करा, जैसे हमें करना था, लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल राम डेबिट टू सेल्स करना था, राइट। आपने राम डेबिट टू सेल्स करना, तो आपने राम के अकाउंट में तो लिख दिया राम टू सेल्स डेबिट साइड पे, बट सेल्स अकाउंट में डालना भूल गए, तो दैट इज योर पार्शियल ओमिशन। और ये हमेशा ट्रायल बैलेंस आपका अफेक्ट करता है, ऑलवेज अफेक्टेड। आपका ट्रायल बैलेंस हमेशा अफेक्ट होता है यहां पर, किसमें, पार्शियल ओमिशन में। फुल ओमिशन में आपका ट्रायल बैलेंस अफेक्ट नहीं होता, तो उम्मीद लगाओ कि फुल ओमिशन वाला केस अदा है। ठीक है जी, ठीक है, तो दिस वाज योर एरर्स ऑफ ओमिशन, हमने देख लिया। प्रिंसिपल एरर्स देख लिया हमने, एरर्स ऑफ कमीशन अभी देखते हैं। कंपनसेटिंग एरर्स क्या होते हैं, कंपनसेटिंग एरर्स के साथ प्रॉब्लम क्या है, दिस डज नॉट अफेक्ट योर ट्रायल बैलेंस। और ठीक है, कंपनसेटिंग एरर्स क्या होते हैं, वी मेड एन एरर और इट इज बीइंग कंपनसेटेड फॉर। इसका मतलब कॉम्पनसेटिंग एरर, माय एरर इज बीइंग कॉम्पनसेटेड फॉर। एग्जाम्पल समझते हैं, जैसे बोला था मैंने सेल करी किसे, राम को 100 रुपए की, ठीक है, तो मेरे को एंट्री करनी थी राम डेबिट टू सेल्स करनी थी, ये एंट्री तो ठीक है। अब प्रॉब्लम क्या हुई यहां पे, प्रॉब्लम क्या हुई, यहां पर 100 रुपए लिखना था, 100 लिखना था, इंस्टेड ऑफ 100 रुपए व्हाट आई हैव रिटन इज 10 रुपीज। सो आई हैव रिटन 10 रुपीज ओवर हियर, 10 10। अब प्रॉब्लम क्या हुई उससे, entry should have been passed by 100 rupees but it was passed by 10 rupees, that is your compensating error. See, the error in itself is compensating for the mistake, the error in itself is compensating for the mistake, it does not affect my trial balance, so it is difficult to find. ठीक है, the end sale थी मेरी 100 rupees की, but instead I passed it for 10 rupees, so this is my compensating error, कि error in itself is compensating for the mistake of the accountant. ठीक है, तो दैट वाज इट, लेट्स मूव अहेड। अब हमने ये पढ़ लिया, ये पढ़ लिया, वी हैव डन इट। अब आता है एरर्स ऑफ कमीशन, ये मेरा ट्रायल बैलेंस अफेक्ट करते हैं। These transactions affect my trial balance. Compensating error. Compensating errors. What kind of compensating errors affect my trial balance? समझना नहीं, compensating नहीं, sorry, I've written compensating already. I had to cover errors of commission, right? Errors of commission. This can affect my trial balance, can or cannot affect TB. TB is not tuberculosis, this is trial balance. ठीक है, अब क्या होता है इसमें देखना, इसमें जो गलती होती है, यहीं पे लिख देता हूं, चलो, इसमें जो गलती होती है वो तीन चीजों की होती है, आप याद रखना, निमोनिक, AAS, आस, A फॉर अकाउंट, सॉरी, और फिर उसके बाद हो गया A फॉर और S फॉर हमारे पास है A फॉर अकाउंट, S फॉर साइड, और A फॉर अकाउंटिंग, अकाउंटिंग हेड, नहीं, अकाउंटिंग अकाउंटिंग अकाउंट अकाउंटिंग, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग द ए यार, एक मिनट रुको। अच्छा ठीक है, अकाउंटिंग कन्वेंशन, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे या तो कन्वेंशन की गलती होती है, या अकाउंट की गलती होती है, या फिर आपकी साइड की गलती होती है, दैट इज योर आस्क। आप ये याद रख सकते हो, एरर ऑफ फॉर्मेशन होगा, और इट मे और मे नॉट अफेक्ट योर ट्रायल बैलेंस, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट। तो वी हैव फोर टाइप्स ऑफ एरर, वी हैव सीन ऑल ऑफ द एरर्स। We had principal error, then we had errors of omission, then we had compensating error. In errors of omission we had partial omission, full omission. After that we had compensating errors, and then finally we had errors of omission. Then comes the bank reconciliation statement. फटाफट से एक बार रिव्यू देखते हैं। तो बैंक reconciliation statement में we have two important things. We have our own cash book, and we have passbook. Passbook is prepared by the bank, ठीक है, and cash book is prepared by business. When I say cash book, I mean cash book का bank column. And bank reconciliation statement is a statement that bridges the difference between cash book and passbook, ठीक है। For example, what we have over here is, मैंने लिखा यहां पर कैश बुक, और मैंने लिखा पासबुक, ओके। पासबुक, कैश बुक में मेरे पास लेट से 10,000 रुपीज डेबिट का, और पासबुक में है मेरे पास क्रेडिट का 15,000 रुपीज। ये क्रेडिट का 15,000 का मतलब अभी समझाता हूं। अब ये जो डिफरेंस आ रहा है, द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द बैलेंस और एज पर पासबुक एंड द बैलेंस एज पर कैश बुक इज ascertained बाय अ स्टेटमेंट कॉल्ड बैंक रिकंसिलिएशन स्टेटमेंट. What we do with this statement is we try to understand the difference between the balance as per passbook and the balance as per cash book. Okay, this is what it means. तो बैलेंस, अगर मेरा पासबुक का क्रेडिट बैलेंस है, क्रेडिट बैलेंस का मतलब हो गया दिस मनी हैज टू बी गिवन बाय द बैंक टू अस, ये बैंक के लिए लायबिलिटी हमारा एसेट है। तो पासबुक का क्रेडिट बैलेंस इज इक्विवेलेंट टू कैश बुक का डेबिट बैलेंस, व्हिच मींस इट इज आवर एसेट। कैश बुक का डेबिट बैलेंस मतलब ये बैंक का पॉजिटिव बैलेंस है। तो इधर दिखाया मैंने, कैश बुक और पासबुक लिखा मैंने। तो आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट पॉजिटिव बैलेंस मतलब एसेट, ठीक है। इसका मतलब कैश बुक का डेबिट बैलेंस मेरा पॉजिटिव बैलेंस होता है, और पासबुक का क्रेडिट बैलेंस इज माय पॉजिटिव बैलेंस। ऑन द अदर एंड, अगर मेरा नेगेटिव है, नेगेटिव मतलब लायबिलिटी, ये पैसा मुझे देना है, दिस इज द केस ऑफ बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट, उस केस में क्या होगा जी, तो कैश बुक का क्रेडिट बैलेंस इज माय लायबिलिटी, और पासबुक का डेबिट बैलेंस इज माय लायबिलिटी। ये जो केस है मेरा, ये है बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट का। दिस इज द केस ऑफ माय बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट। तो बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट इज द लायबिलिटी। इसे आप ऐसे समझ सकते हो, फॉर एग्जांपल आपका नेगेटिव बैलेंस इन द मेट्रो कार्ड। सो लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल यू आर यूजिंग अ मेट्रो कार्ड, और आपके मेट्रो कार्ड में थे 10 रुपीज, बट यू स्वाइप योर कार्ड एंड आफ्टर यू एग्जिट यू सी -5 रुपीज। तो नेगेटिव बैलेंस इज योर ऑफ योर बैंक अकाउंट इज योर बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट। इसका मतलब आपने बैंक से कुछ पैसा उधार ले लिया, ऑटोमेटिकली हो जाता है, अच्छे बैंक्स में ये फीचर होता है, ठीक है। तो अगर आपका कैश बुक का क्रेडिट बैलेंस है और एंड द डेबिट बैलेंस ऑफ योर पासबुक is equivalent to bank overdraft, this is very important for you to understand BRS में, okay, समझ आया? If it is clear, please let me know in the chat section एक बारी, and please react a fire emoji in the chat section if you can hear me, and if you understood this concept, please react the fire in the chat section. I am unable to see any responses in the chat section. Are you people there? Okay, okay. People are reacting now. ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच. तो आपका कैश का डेबिट बैलेंस इज इक्विवेलेंट टू योर पासबुक का क्रेडिट बैलेंस, मतलब ये पॉजिटिव बैलेंस है, आपका असेट है. ठीक है. ऑन दी अदर हैंड कैश बुक का क्रेडिट बैलेंस कौन से वाला, बैंक कॉलम का. ठीक है, थैंक यू जादू. कैश बुक बैंक कॉलम. कैश बुक का क्रेडिट बैलेंस है आपका और पासबुक का डेबिट बैलेंस है. इसका मतलब वो नेगेटिव बैलेंस है आपका, बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट है. इफ यू वांट अ स्क्रीनशॉट यू कैन टेक द स्क्रीनशॉट ऑफ दिस स्लाइड. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. थैंक यू. लेट्स मूव अहेड. इसमें एक चीज और होती है, अंडरकास्ट और ओवरकास्ट. अंडरकास्ट मींस बैलेंस कम है. तो मैंने अगर बोला कि कोई चीज मेरी कम है तो उसे मैं बोलूंगा अंडरकास्ट. लाइक माय माय बॉटल इज अंडरकास्ट बाय 20 ml, तो दैट इज मेरी बॉटल का पानी कम हो गया. किसी चीज, कोई पॉजिटिव चीज के साथ अंडरकास्ट यूज करूंगा, इसका मतलब वो कम हो गई. ओवरकास्ट का मतलब कोई चीज ज्यादा है, मतलब माय बैलेंस इज ओवरकास्ट बाय 100 रुपीज का. इसका मतलब मेरा जो बैलेंस होता था नॉर्मली उससे 100 रुपए ज्यादा था. तो किसी भी पॉजिटिव चीज के साथ अगर अंडरकास्ट लगता है वो कम हो गई और ओवरकास्ट लगता है तो वो ज्यादा हो गई. ऑन दी अदर हैंड किसी नेगेटिव चीज के साथ हो जाएगा, तो कोई नेगेटिव चीज अंडरकास्ट है तो मेरा फायदा है और कोई नेगेटिव चीज ओवरकास्ट है तो मेरा नुकसान है. समझ आया ये सबको? ठीक है जी, ये समझ आया? प्लीज लेट मी नो इन द चैट सेक्शन इफ यू गॉट द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ अंडरकास्ट एंड ओवरकास्ट. इफ माय पॉजिटिव थिंग इज अंडरकास्ट, दैट इज अ वेरी बैड थिंग. If my positive thing is overcast, that is a good thing for me. For example, I have a lot of money. I was supposed to have 100 rupees, but my pocket money is overcast by 50 rupees. That means I have 150. तो फायदा हो रहा है मेरा यहाँ पे. ठीक है. On the other hand, if I have a balance, negative balance, और वो उसको undercast overcast बोल रहा है, that is a negative thing for me. तो आप इसे ऐसे समझो, undercast is negative in case of positive cases. ओहो, go back. हाँ. और पॉजिटिव केसेस में ये अच्छी गुड, मैं एक काम करता हूँ गुड वाला लिखता हूँ. बैड, गुड एंड गुड, बैड. आप इसे ऐसे समझ सकते हो, पॉजिटिविटी कम होना बैड है, पॉजिटिविटी ज्यादा होना गुड है. ऑन दी अदर हैंड नेगेटिविटी बढ़ना, नेगेटिविटी कम होना गुड है, नेगेटिविटी बढ़ना बैड है. ठीक है ना, ऐसे याद रखना. चलिए जी आगे चलते हैं. लेट्स मूव अहेड. सो वी हैव बिल्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज. In that we have two types of bills. Bills payable and bills receivable. We have bills payable and bills receivable. इसमें क्या फर्क होता है? Let's try to understand. I've written a bill and I have to receive amount on that bill. That is my bills receivable. I am about to receive my money, so that is my bills receivable. But I have been given a bill and I have to make payment on that bill. That is my bills payable. Clarity आई bills payable और bills receivable से related? Please let me know in the chat section. Like, okay sir, I have understood it now. Okay, ठीक है. Let's move ahead now. So bills payable is I have to make the payment. This is my liability. And this is my asset. आप इसे ऐसे समझ सकते हो, बिल्स रिसीवेबल आर योर डेटर्स एंड बिल्स पेबल आर योर क्रेडिटर्स. सिंपल सी भाषा में. ठीक है. अब आगे जो हमें समझना है वो देखना है. लेट्स मूव अहेड बच्चों. अच्छा, लेट मी नो इन द चैट सेक्शन इफ आई शुड यूज ओनली इंग्लिश or should I use like the English entirely? Please let me know in the chat section. I'm waiting for your answer in the chat section. Please let me know, should I use English or Hinglish? We are about to complete the session now. I'm waiting for your responses. What happened to the people? And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe the channel and also like the video, yaar. Your likes motivate me to do the best out of me, to get the best out of me. So please do like the video. It will help me. Any would work. Okay. ठीक है, I'll keep it for English. ठीक है, we only have 8 likes so far. So do like the video, yaar. Come on, what are you doing? ठीक है. Difference between promissory note and bills of exchange. Promissory note, as the name suggests, it is a promise that okay, I promise to pay the bearer. For example, the currency that you have, 100 rupee note, 200 rupee note, any currency that you get from Indian government, that is a promissory note. Over there is a written note. I promise to pay the bearer the sum of rupees 10, 20, as the case may be. It means कि सामने वाला आपको प्रॉमिस कर रहा है ये अमाउंट पे करने का. दैट इज अ प्रोमिसरी नोट. तो आपकी इंडियन करेंसी इज अ प्रोमिसरी नोट. प्लीज याद रखना है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. इंडियन करेंसी इज अ प्रोमिसरी नोट. एनी काइंड ऑफ करेंसी इज अ प्रोमिसरी नोट. ऑन दी अदर हैंड वी हैव बिल्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज. वो क्या होता है वो समझते हैं. ठीक है, ठीक है. That is not the official session. ठीक है. The promissory note is a written promise. ये promise है, लिखा हुआ promise है, written promise. Whereas a bill of exchange is a written order. Bill of exchange को आप ठुकरा नहीं सकते, आपको वो fulfill करना ही होगा. Promissory note on the other hand आप accept कर सकते हो, नहीं कर सकते हो. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि नोट फटा हुआ होता है तो the vendor is not accepting that note because he can reject the note. On the other hand, if I had a bill of exchange और उसका इशू करा हुआ था या मैंने इशू करा था उसको, तो वो रिजेक्ट नहीं कर सकता उस केस में. समझ आया? फर्क. Promissory notes can be rejected, but bills of exchange cannot be rejected. Let's move ahead. ठीक है. The promissory note allows no copies. Promissory note cannot be copied. On the other hand, bill of exchange can have multiple copies. So generally it is accepted. Number 3 is accepted in the market. ठीक है. 3 parties are involved in a bill of exchange, but a promissory note involves 2 parties only. बिल ऑफ एक्सचेंज में मेरी 3 पार्टीज इन्वॉल्व होती है. ऑन दी अदर हैंड मेरे पास क्या होता है, प्रोमिसरी नोट में सिर्फ 2 पार्टीज इन्वॉल्व होती है. आई होप आपको समझ में आया होगा. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्लाइड. लेट्स मूव अहेड. हम अब उसके बाद हम आते हैं यहां पर फॉर्म्स ऑफ बिजनेस. वी हैव फॉर्म्स ऑफ बिजनेस. इसमें हमारे पास वी हैव अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. ओके, पीपल आर सेइंग इंग्लिश. ओके, आई विल यूज इंग्लिश देन. आई विल यूज इंग्लिश. नोटेड. We have multiple forms of business. We'll try to understand each of them. So first of all, we have sole proprietorship. This was covered in your class 11th as well, but I am sure you must not be remembering any of it. First of all, we have sole proprietorship. Then we have partnership. And then we have company. We also have other types of organizations, but right now it is not my concern. I am only concerned with all these 3. Okay, sole proprietorship is there is one proprietor, that is one business owner, and that is running the entire operations. He is running the entire operations. So one owner, or you can say one man army. Okay. On the other hand, in partnership, we have 2 or more people sharing profits and losses together. We have 2 or more people sharing in profit and losses together. Okay. In company, we have at least 2 people, but it could be more than that. Okay. So we have company and we have 2 types. I'll write it over here. So company, we have company, and we have 2 types of companies. In fact, actually, let's be honest, we have 3 types of companies. Private companies, we have public companies. ठीक है. और प्राइवेट कंपनी में भी we have one person कंपनी और नॉर्मल कंपनी, ठीक है, इसकी एक स्पेशल काइंड होती है 1% कंपनी, ओके। सो वी हैव प्राइवेट कंपनीज एंड पब्लिक कंपनीज। प्राइवेट कंपनीज आर नॉट अलाउड टू इशू देयर शेयर्स, मतलब we can say transfer of shares not allowed. Public companies are allowed to transfer their shares, allowed to transfer shares. Private companies are not allowed to transfer shares. On the other hand, public companies are allowed to transfer shares, okay. There is a special kind of private company that is called 1% company, and by the name you can guess it involves only one person. So if you want to start a business and you want to do it alone, you can make a 1% company. The point behind making a company is the owner of the company or the people who are the owners in the company have limited liability. On the other hand, in sole proprietorship, like it was written over here, we have one owner, but this owner has unlimited liability. That is the problem. Unlimited liability. So we don't want that. Unlimited liability means you will have to sell your house, your car, your dog, everything to pay back the liabilities. On the other hand, in a company we have limited liability. It means you are only bound to pay the amount that is due in the company. You are not bound to pay anything else. That is why this is the best form. In private company, we have 1% company. That is a special kind of private company. Private companies cannot transfer shares. On the other hand, public companies are allowed to transfer shares. When I say who is transfer of shares, who is going to transfer the shares? I am talking about the owners. So the owners of the company are allowed to transfer the shares in the case of public company. In the case of private company, it is not allowed. Let's move ahead. So we have types of companies now. We have based on liability. Company limited by shares first, and the company limited by guarantee, and unlimited companies. Okay. These are the three types of company in case of liability. In case of nature, we already have covered public companies and private companies where they are allowed to transfer shares and raise the money from the public. That is very important. So people are allowed to raise them, companies are allowed to raise the money from the market in case of public companies. Private companies are not allowed to raise the money from the markets. I hope I was able to explain to you. That was the point. On the basis of hold. So we have holding companies. Holding companies are the papa companies. I say papa company. They buy the companies. So if I'm buying a company, then I am the holding company for that company which has been brought. Okay. That is holding company. Subsidiary company जिसे मैंने खरीदा, जो कंपनी खरीदी गई, दैट इज माय सब्सिडरी कंपनी. एसोसिएट कंपनी एंड जॉइंट वेंचर कंपनी. जॉइंट वेंचर कंपनी इज दैट काइंड ऑफ अ कंपनी जो दो कंपनी साथ में मिलकर काम करने आई है. फॉर एग्जांपल मारुति एंड सुजुकी. दे मारुति उद्योग वाज अ डिफरेंट कंपनी, सुजुकी इज अ जापानीज कंपनी. उन्होंने साथ में मिलकर डिसाइड करा इंडिया में कार्स बना के बेचेंगे, तो दैट इज मारुति सुजुकी. इट वाज अ जॉइंट वेंचर. ठीक है. फिर here we have listed companies and unlisted companies. These are listed companies and unlisted companies. If you are listed in the stock markets, then you are a listed company. Unlisted companies are those companies which are not listed in the stock markets. तो यहाँ पे बोल सकते हैं important bifurcation आया यहाँ पर. All listed companies are private companies, but not all private companies are listed companies. इसका मतलब मेरी listed companies है, whatever listed company I have, it means it can either be private, it can only be public, okay, but my private companies cannot be listed. That means they cannot go in stock market and issue shares. So that is the point. You don't when it is private company, those are going to be unlisted companies. Always remember that. So private companies always unlisted. Unlisted. I had to write unlisted. I'll write unlisted over here. Always unlisted. On the other hand, we have public companies. Public companies can either be private or sorry, public company can either be listed or unlisted. It depends. So there are a lot of public companies which do not go in the stock market and take money, but those are public companies. Okay. चलिए जी आगे चलते हैं. Let's move ahead now. Then we have difference between shares and debentures. Let's understand the difference between the shares and debentures. What I am doing is, when I'm issuing as a company, when I'm issuing a share, I'm going in the market and I'm asking people to buy the share and become the owner of the company. So the people who buy the share in the company are the owners of the company. That means they will be held liable for the liabilities and everything. Okay. They do not get anything, but they do get share of profit as dividend. Okay. That was the second thing. The third important thing, in case of shares, I do get the money. I means the company do get the money from the public. Okay. But the point is, I am not bound to return that money. As a company, I am not bound to return that money to the owners, because you do understand there is a risk in the business. I'm not bound by it to return the money to the owners. So I've said shareholders. In case of debentures, we get debenture holders. I'll come to debentures later on. Okay, shareholders. Okay, so we have shareholders. What we do with the shareholders is, shareholders are the company's owners. Okay, debenture holders are lenders. They lend the money to the company. Okay, number one. Share in profit. No share in profit. No fixed amount is received as interest. Okay, let's understand the difference now. Debenture holders are the people who buy the debentures of the company and they become the lenders of the company. That means the company is bound to return the money to the debenture holders once the term of expiry comes into the picture. On the other hand, we have shareholders. Shareholders are the owner of the company and they're not, the company is not bound to return the money to the shareholders. Okay. Shareholders get share in profit in form of dividend. On the other hand, the debenture holders do not get share in profit, so there is no share in profit for the debenture holders. On the shareholders do not get any fixed amount in terms of anything. In fact, the dividend is not compulsory. On the other hand, debenture holders do get a fixed amount in the form of interest, and the company is bound to pay the interest in case of losses as well. Please note the point. Even in the case of losses of a company, the company is bound to pay the interest to the debenture holders. Okay. Okay. So this was the major difference between the shares and the debentures. Debenture holders are the lenders of the company. On the other hand, the shareholders are the owners of the company. And one more thing, very important thing. When it comes to the payment of the debentures, in the case of liquidation, I'm writing it over here. In the case of liquidation, liquidation is when the business is closing its operation. Closure of operations. When the business is closing its operations, उस केस में first priority is given to the debenture holders to get their money back. The debenture holders will get their money, and in the last we get shareholders. Okay. So at the time of liquidation, the debenture holders get the priority and their loan is repaid first, and the shareholders get the last priority. So if anything is left, it is given to the shareholders generally. That is what it means. Okay, let's move ahead. Now let's come to the GST. I'm unable to write it. Let's come to the GST now. GST. GST is goods and services tax. It was okay. I'm so freaking scared. Don't worry. Okay, do you want a break or should I continue? I think I should continue. Your exam is there, right? So I'll continue now. So GST is goods and services tax. It was a single indirect tax. It is a single indirect tax levied on the supply of goods and services. So please understand. Earlier the tax we had was value added tax. Okay, it was the value that you are adding at every stage was taxed. So it was a case of tax on tax. That is what GST is avoiding. GST taxes your supply of goods or services. Please note, not only goods but services as well. That is why it is called goods and services tax. It is a single indirect tax applicable entirely in India. It removed, I'll tell you, service tax was replaced and VAT was replaced because of the GST. It replaces multiple indirect taxes like VAT, service tax, excise duty. Excise duty is still applicable on sin goods, like sin goods are goods like alcohol, tobacco. Okay. It is a destination based tax. So wherever you are, it will be taxed on that particular situation. For example, if you are sending goods from, let's say, Delhi to Mumbai, so the GST will be applied in Mumbai and not Delhi. Okay. So it is the destination based tax, not the source based tax. Okay. Let's move ahead. Charges on value addition at each stage collected by center plus state. So center, the central government as well as the state government both get their share in the GST. Key features of GST: one nation, one tax, uniform tax structure across the country. That was the first feature. The second feature is multi-stage taxation. So collected at every point, and you can take input tax credit of GST. So let's say, for example, you have already paid GST to a supplier for buying raw material. Let's say 10,000 rupees, and now you are selling it to the customer for 20,000 rupees. So your tax liability would come out to 20,000. You can take the credit of 10,000. So 20,000 minus this 10,000, your tax liability would come out at 10,000 rupees. So you are only bound to pay 10,000 rupees to the government. You don't have to pay tax on tax. You don't have to pay tax again and again. You just have to pay it once, and whatever tax you have paid earlier would can be claimed as input tax credit. Okay. I think if people are okay, I can. Okay, if people are okay, I can take this class for 15 to 20 minutes more, if that's okay. Are you okay with 15 to 20 minutes more? I have 2-3 things more to tell. If you can tell me about it. I'm waiting for your responses in the chat section. Please let me know if that's okay. I am waiting, everyone. If that's okay, I can extend this class by 15 to 20 minutes if that's okay. Please let me know yes or no, please. I'm waiting for your responses. Okay. I'm getting the responses, I guess. Yes, sir. Okay, it is okay. Okay, let's move ahead now. Destination based, final tax revenue goes to the state or goods and services are consumed. For example, if I'm selling goods from Delhi to Mumbai, the Mumbai government will get the tax, not the Delhi government. Okay. And that is the point. The third or fifth part is input tax credit. That is the most beautiful things about, one of the most beautiful things about GST. Tax paid on purchase can be adjusted with tax payable on sales. Like in our case, I brought cloth and I paid tax then and there 10,000 rupees. Then I am selling the t-shirt to the customers. I have the liability of 25,000. So I can claim this 10,000 in the and as a deduction from my entire liability. So my liability would be 25,000. Okay, this is what I have to pay to the government. I'm claiming 10,000 rupees which I had paid earlier as ITC. So 15,000 is my new tax liability. That is the most beautiful thing about GST. Let's move ahead now. Types of GST, we have central GST, which is collected by the central government. We have state GST, which is collected by the state government. And we have IGST. This is for the central government. So let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. Okay. If I am selling good, example, case number one. If I am selling goods from Delhi to Delhi, in that case, CGST and SGST would be applicable. Okay. So source is my Delhi and destination is also the Delhi. On the other hand, we have, let's say, Delhi, that is my source, and we have Mumbai as my destination. So in that case, we will have CGST and IGST. So if intrastate sale मतलब within sale, oh within state, so within state मतलब Delhi to Delhi, वहां पर आपका लगता है CGST प्लस SGST, but interstate sale है, if it is the case of within two state sale, interstate, then we have IGST plus CGST. ठीक है जी, this is between two states. Let's move ahead. हमने इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट देख लिया, एग्जांपल देखा था हमने, 25,000 वाज माय सेल, 10,000 मैं ऑलरेडी रॉ मटेरियल पे पे करके आ रहा हूं, तो वो 25,000 में से मैंने 10,000 माइनस कर दिया, आई ओनली हैव टू पे 15,000. यहां पे देख लेते हैं, जीएसटी ऑन सेल 18,000 था. ओके, और फिर मैंने परचेज पे ऑलरेडी पे कर रखा था, तो ये हो जाएगा मेरा 18,000 माइनस 8,000. My tax liability would be reduced to 10,000 rupees. That is the answer. चलिए जी, लेट्स मूव अहेड. ये आपका था जीएसटी. अच्छा, ये दिस इज नॉट इन योर सिलेबस, दिस इज नॉट इन योर सिलेबस, नॉट नॉट नॉट. अब देखते हैं, इधर देखते हैं. अब आपके पास क्या है, आपको थोड़ा सा, आई एम गोइंग टू गिव यू एन ओवरव्यू ऑफ बैलेंस शीट, ट्रेडिंग एंड प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट एंड अदर थिंग्स. ओके, सो दिस इज योर बैलेंस शीट. Over here we have written liabilities and assets. So always remember, the assets are on the right side and liabilities are on the left side. ठीक है, यहां पर आप सारे assets लिखोगे, यहां पे आप सारी liabilities लिखोगे, आपका जो total है that should always come out to be equal. मतलब यहां पे अगर आपका 50,000 आ रहा है, तो आपका यहां पर भी 50,000 ही आना चाहिए. Your answer should always match. If your answer is not matching, then it is a problem for you. Okay, so that was the point related to balance sheet. Left side liabilities, right side assets, the balance should always match. If it is not matching, then there is definitely a problem with the concept that you have used. Okay, let's move ahead. We have trading and profit and loss account. Trading account, let's start with trading account. Okay, so in trading account, what we do is we write all the operational cost over here. Operational costs. What are operational costs? Your opening inventory, that means the raw material that you have. ठीक है, at the beginning of the accounting period. Then you have purchases. You write your purchases and you write net purchases. That means purchase minus purchase return. Purchase minus purchase return. Okay. Then you pay wages. I'm not writing salaries over here. Wages is given to the laborer. And then you pay your factory overheads. I'm writing factory overheads. It can include electricity bill of the factory. Okay. Opening inventory, purchases, wages, factory overhead. Over here, we will have closing inventory. No, first of all, we'll have sales. Sales. And these are going to be your net sales. That means sales minus sales return. Okay. And over here, usually we have closing stock. Yeah, closing inventory. That means the stock at the end of the year. Okay. So this is what trading account looks like. We are going to calculate only the operational cost over here. So let's say you have gross profit. That would come over here as balancing figure. This is your gross profit. Balancing figure. And in case of loss, you will have by gross loss on the credit side. This is going to be your balancing figure. Okay. Okay, let's move ahead. So let's say your operation expenses are greater than your revenue. That is a clear case of gross loss. Okay, that is the clear case of gross loss. Operational expenses are greater than revenue. On the other hand, if operational expenses are less than revenue, this is your gross profit. Got it? Now let's come to the profit and loss account. Profit and loss account. Profit and loss account. Very simple to remember. On the debit side, you get to write all the expenses other than the operational expenses, because operational expenses are already written in the trading account. So you write all the expenses over here which were not covered in the trading account. Okay. And over here you write all the incomes that you have which were not written in the trading account. So you cannot write these. Where is it? You cannot write these things in the profit and loss account. Other than that, everything that is there, you can simply write in profit and loss account. So in the profit and loss account, debit side is for expenses and the credit side is for incomes. If you have a balancing figure at the debit side, you say net profit. This is your balancing figure. And in case you have a loss, then you write you write net loss. This is your net loss. Again, balancing figure. Okay, so that is your profit and loss account. Let's move ahead. अब एक छोटी सी चीज आपको बतानी है मुझे. अगर मेरा इनकम्स आर ग्रेटर देन एक्सपेंसेस, ये कौन सा केस होगा? नेट प्रॉफिट. और if incomes are less than expenses, this is your net loss. ठीक है जी? तो अगर आपका इनकम ज्यादा है एक्सपेंसेस से, दैट इज योर नेट प्रॉफिट. इनकम्स कम है एक्सपेंसेस से, दैट इज योर नेट लॉस. ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट और ग्रॉस लॉस में फर्क समझ आ गया. नेट प्रॉफिट एंड नेट लॉस का हमने डिफरेंस देख लिया. लेट्स मूव अहेड. छोटे छोटे टॉपिक्स है यार, फटाफट से कवर करा देता हूं आपको. अब आता है पार्टनरशिप पर. आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट पार्टनरशिप. 2 or more people start a business, agree to share profits. What is partnership? When two or more people decide to start a business and agree to share profits. Sir, does it mean they are not agreeing to share losses? That is implied that if you are sharing the profits, you will also share the losses. Then that is called partnership. Okay, so partnership is covered by Partnership Act 1932. Partnership Act 1932 governs partnership. There can be n number of partners in a partnership, but Companies Act 2013, mark my words please, there can be n number of partners, but Companies Act 2013 restricts number of partners to 50. Please note that the number of partners in a partnership, the maximum number of partners is 50 as per Companies Act 2013. So Companies Act 2013 is providing the maximum ceiling for the number of partners that a partnership can have. I hope it is clear to you. Let's move ahead. The document which is there, there is a document called Partnership. Oh, first of all, understand this thing. Partnership agreement can be oral or written. Partnership is developed by an agreement, okay, and that agreement can either be oral or written. The written agreement between the partners is called partnership deed. Written agreement between partners, we call it partnership deed. And partnership deed covers entirely everything. It has everything related to the partnership. So it could be the profit sharing ratio between the partners. If there is a partner that is going to get the salary, it is there. The name of the partnership, the name of the partners in the partnership, who will get how much money as interest on capital, who will get who will be charged how much money as interest on drawing. Everything is covered in partnership deed. Okay. ठीक है जी, आगे चलते हैं फिर. आई होप ये इतना आपको क्लियर है. अब आपके पास आता है, फटाफट से मैं आपको बता देता हूं, रेशियोज में वी हैव रेशियोज. ठीक है, रेशियोज में वी हैव लिक्विडिटी रेशियोज. वी हैव टू टाइप्स ऑफ लिक्विडिटी रेशियोज. टू टाइप्स. नंबर वन, current ratio, and number two, quick ratio. तो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट करंट रेशियो. देखो, लिक्विडिटी रेशियोज का ट्रिक बताता हूं आपको. इट इज अ वेरी सिंपल ट्रिक दैट यू कैन कीप इन माइंड फॉर योर फॉर्मूलाज. तो लिक्विडिटी रेशियोज, राइट. So we have two types of ratios: current ratios and quick ratio. This is also called liquid ratio. This is also called acid test ratio. Please remember the names: acid test ratio, liquid ratio, or quick ratio. Both are the same. In the liquidity ratios, we have current liabilities in the denominator in both the ratios. So current liabilities in the denominator, current liabilities. Okay, but assets change. So I'll write assets over here. Assets. The type of assets will change according to the ratio. type of asset would change according to the ratio. What kind of ratio are you talking about, sir? You'll get to know. So we have current ratio. This is not ratios, this is ratios. This is not ratios, this is ratio. Okay. So we have current ratio. In current ratio, the assets would be my current. Simple. And in my liquid ratio, the assets would be my either liquid or quick assets. Okay. Okay, okay. Let's move ahead. कुछ भी नहीं आता है सर, अब लेवल निकलेंगे, सबके लेवल निकलेंगे. हाँ जी, सबके लेवल निकलेंगे, बिल्कुल निकलेंगे. बस पढ़ाई पे ध्यान दे लो नालायको. इधर देख लो. You just have to focus on whatever I'm teaching. It is time. You don't have to lose the hope. You just have to do better than the other person, and maybe you can get the admission in the college. ठीक है? ठीक है जी, इधर देखिए. अब हमारा क्विक एसेट्स कैसे निकलते हैं? क्विक एसेट्स is equals to current assets minus prepaid expenses minus inventory. Okay, this is your quick assets. और करंट एसेट्स में क्या होता है? द टोटल ऑफ ऑल द करंट एसेट्स, मतलब वो एसेट्स व्हिच आर गोइंग टू रियलाइज विद इन 12 मंथ्स, दैट इज द टोटल ऑफ द all the current assets. On the other hand, when I talk about current liabilities, those are the liabilities which will be paid within 12 months. So we take the total of the current liabilities, and that is my current liabilities. So that was my liquidity ratios. Now let's move ahead to one final topic for you, that is solvency ratios. We have, इनका सिंपल सा रूल है यार, जैसा नाम वैसा काम, जैसा नाम वैसा काम, सिंपल याद रखना. जैसे इफ आई एम राइटिंग डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो, डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो, आई विल राइट डेट over equity. Like the formula is hidden in the heading itself. Debt to equity ratio, debt over equity. Simple. I write total assets to debt ratio. Okay. Okay, people are saying let's make an ID. Let me give you a second. Okay, एक मिनट, let me check the trend. ठीक है जी, ठीक है. अब इधर देखते हैं बेटा, ये टोटल डेट टू एसेट्स रेशियो होता है. डेट टू टोटल एसेट्स, सॉरी, डेट टू total assets. So what we write over here is debt upon my total assets. Okay, then we have interest coverage ratio. Interest coverage ratio is profit before interest and tax, which is also called PBIT, upon my interest obligation. That the amount of interest that you have to pay. What we are doing over here is we are measuring that the profit that we are earning, is it enough to meet the interest? Is it greater than the interest, or is it smaller than the interest? So interest obligation. Okay, then this is your interest coverage ratio. Then we have um, proprietary ratio. किसी को नहीं पता चलेगा बेटा, पता लग गया ना तो फिर आपकी बैंड बच जाएगी. Okay, do you want me to translate that in English if you were not able to understand that? Okay, so we have proprietary ratio. The formula for proprietary ratio is proprietors funds, which is also called as shareholder funds, divided by total assets. Okay, and then we have debt to capital employed ratio. Debt to capital employed ratio. So that simply means debt over capital employed. Okay, so these were your solvency ratios. These are very important from your exam point of view. Other than that, we have covered liquidity ratios. One final topic, that is cash flow. Do you want me to cover the cash flow? Okay, I'll cover the cash flow for you. Cash flow statement. Very important points for you. In cash flow statements, this is based on cash basis of accounting. Comes under accounting standard 3, has 3 activities. Operating, investing and financing. Okay, operating, investing and financing, we have 3 kind of activities. Let's understand this. So a cash flow statement, what it does is it measures or it summarizes the amount of cash inflow and amount of cash outflow from the business. Okay, this is what it does. It tries to summarize the amount of cash that was received in the business and the amount of cash that went outside the business. So we are not talking about credit, any kind of credit purchase, credit sales. We are not worried about that. This is based on cash basis of accounting. We have studied, we have 2 basis of accounting, cash basis and accrual basis. This is based on cash basis of accounting. It is covered under accounting standard 3, which is your AS3, and has 3 activities: operating activities, investing activities, financing activities. Operating activities are only concerned about the activities from operations. In investing activities, we put the cash inflow when we sell an asset, we put the cash outflow when we buy an asset. When we talk about the financing activities, we are talking about those items which either increase my capital or the debt of the business or reduce my debt or capital from the business. So this was all about the cash flow, a holistic overview. I hope you got the most out of this session. And if I was able to explain the things to you better, you may connect with me over Telegram. This is my Telegram handle. Let me share. This is my Telegram handle. You can connect with me over Telegram. I am Rishabh Agarwal. I am there to help you out. If you need any kind of career guidance, you can connect with me over Telegram. You can scan the code. Alternatively, you can search @Rishabh_sir_Adda 24/7. And I'll be there to guide you. All the best for your exam. This is the end of the session. Thank you so much for attending this session. Thank you so much for staying till the end of the session. I wish you all the best for your exam. Good luck and chak de fatte. Okay, if you have any questions, okay, before I end the session, if you have any questions, you can let me know in the chat section. I'm there. Let me know in the chat section. So if you have questions, if you have doubts, I'll take the doubts and then I'll end this session for you. There is nothing to pass. All the best. Please let me know. सर कुछ टिप्स दे दीजिए एग्जाम टाइम के लिए. बच्चों रिलैक्स होकर एग्जाम करना यार बिल्कुल. और है ना, फालतू की चीटिंग वगैरह में दिमाग मत लगाओ बेटा. अगर चीटिंग करते हुए पकड़े गए तो बैन हो जाओगे, याद रखना. तो डोंट डू दैट. चीटिंग वगैरह मत करो, रिलैक्स हो जाओ थोड़ा सा, आधा घंटे में आई थिंक 6 बजे से एग्जाम है ना, तो अब एक आधा घंटा कुछ मत पढ़ो, अब रिलैक्स हो जाओ, बिल्कुल चिल हो जाओ, पानी वानी पियो, पानी अपने पास रखना, पेन वगैरह अपने रेडी रखो और एग्जाम के लिए पढ़ो। और बताइए जी, इफ यू हैव एनी मोर डाउट्स यू मे लेट मी नो। बच्चों 23 people are watching and only we have limited likes. Will you please like the video? That will motivate me यार. Yes. How to remain calm during exam? Take deep breaths. अब पढ़ना छोड़ दो भव्या, just relax. This is only an exam. Don't do it अब. कुछ नहीं पढ़ना, just relax. छोड़ दो, रील्स देख लो थोड़ी देर, कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है, रिलैक्स रहो अब। ये देखो, ये भाई आईडी चाहिए वाइट को अभी भी। व्हाट विल यू डू विद द आईडीज? आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड। हाँ जी, एनी मोर डाउट्स और शुड आई एंड द सेशन नाउ? एनी मोर डाउट्स एवरीवन? सर अगर एंट्रेंस में कम मार्क्स आए और वगैरह में अच्छे से पास हो जाए तो सेंट्रल कैंपस में सिलेक्ट हो जाएंगे क्या? डिपेंड करता है कि आपका कोटा क्या है और आपके कैसा स्कोर आ रहा है, उस पर डिपेंड करता है सारा। छोड़ो यार चीटिंग, हाँ बिल्कुल, व्हाट विल यू डू यार, चीटिंग करके कोई फायदा नहीं है। लास्ट मिनट बटरफ्लाइज के लिए, बटरफ्लाइज को चाटा लगाओ। अच्छा चलो, आई विल टेल यू वन ऑनेस्ट थिंग, I used to get butterflies before the exam, but somebody gave me a trick. Instead of seeing them as butterflies, you say, okay, my body is preparing me for the danger that is about to come. ठीक है, ऐसे बोलो कि मेरे को एंजाइटी हो रही है, तो आपको वो लोअर पेडेस्टल पे रख देता है। ऑन दी अदर हैंड अगर आप बोलते हो यार मैं एग्जाम के लिए तैयार हो रहा हूँ, मेरी बॉडी प्रिपेयर कर रही है, मैं जोश में हूँ, बहुत ज्यादा एक्साइटेड हूँ लेकर एग्जाम को, तो आप अच्छा स्कोर कर लोगे, ठीक है ना। और वो जो बटरफ्लाइज है ना, परेशान नहीं करेंगे। एंट्रेंस के लिए कोई टिप्स? बस यार अपना बेस्ट देना, क्वेश्चंस को रीड करना बार बार, एकदम से क्वेश्चन देख के लगेगा आंसर आता है, पर एक बारी शांत होकर क्वेश्चन दोबारा रीड कर लेना, ठीक है ना, उससे बेटर हो जाएगा। और बताइए जी। अच्छा, और टेलीग्राम पे कनेक्ट कर लो यार, इंटरव्यू के लिए टिप्स चाहिए या फिर और कुछ भी चाहिए तो आई एम देयर ऑन टेलीग्राम, यू कैन कनेक्ट विद मी ओवर देयर। मेरे को आप ढूंढ सकते हो टेलीग्राम पे, हम मिल जाएंगे आपको। लुनारिया दे विल वेस्ट योर टाइम, सिंपल, ओके। और बताइए जी, और कोई डाउट यार? एनी मोर डाउट्स? शुड आई एंड द सेशन नाउ? ओके भैया, व्हाट मार्क्स आर कंसीडर्ड गुड? सर इंटरव्यू प्रेप्स के लिए मांग रहा था। अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, मैं गलत एलिगेशन नहीं लगा रहा, मैंने तो सिंपल एक बात बोली कि क्या करोगे आईडीज के लिए, अभी अभी एग्जाम है 6 बजे, आईडी तो बाद में भी मिल जाएगी, ठीक है ना, वो बोल रहा था मैं, एलिगेशन नहीं लगा रहा था, चिल। हाँ ठीक है वाइट, आई गॉट योर पॉइंट, ठीक है। The level of accounts is generally simple, मतलब there are some tricky questions, उस पर ज्यादा टाइम वेस्ट मत करना, पहले जो सिंपल सिंपल क्वेश्चंस है उसे फटाफट से खत्म कर लेना, ठीक है। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल फोकस ऑन द सिंपल क्वेश्चंस एंड देन मूव अहेड टू डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चंस, ओके। अच्छा 6:30 ज्वाइन करना है, ठीक है जी, ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं जी। चलिए जी, थैंक यू सो मच, ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर योर एग्जाम। मिलते हैं जी आपसे टेलीग्राम पे, मुझसे आप कनेक्ट कर सकते हो अगर आपको कुछ भी हेल्प चाहिए तो मुझसे, ठीक है। आई एम देयर, अगर अभी भी आपको कनेक्ट करना है ना टेलीग्राम पे, अभी कनेक्ट कर लो, मैं एग्जाम के लिए आपको हेल्प कर दूंगा, ठीक है ना। एग्जाम के लिए ये नहीं कि पेपर सॉल्व करने आ जाऊंगा, व्हाट आई विल डू इज आई विल क्लियर योर डाउट्स, ठीक है। तो टेलीग्राम पे 1-on-1 कनेक्ट कर सकते हो।